The great thing about youth sports, they give young people an opportunity to participate in something that is going to broaden them as people.
I think it's very amazing that Garza Law Firm has made a commitment to help the youth kids with playing different sports.
Guys like Marcos Garza that put their time into being able to help these kids live out a dream. It's made me who I am today.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Talladega Super Speedway lives up to its name. Of all the closed-circuit motorsports facilities in the world where sanctioned auto races are held, it is the fastest. Constructed by the France family 10 years after Daytona, Talladega was built slightly longer at 2.66 miles with a steeper 33-degree banking, which guaranteed record-setting speeds. The pole speed for NASCAR's first race in 1969, a stunning 199.466 miles an hour, almost 30 miles an hour faster than the Indy cars were then lapping at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Rule changes in 1987 meant Bill Elliott's 212.809 mile per hour lap will likely stand forever as the qualifying record at Talladega and for NASCAR. Talladega is still the fastest track on the schedule, holds the record for the fastest 500-mile stock car race at 188.354 miles per hour, Mark Martin's winning speed in May of '97, and produces some of the most exciting door-to-door racing every year. Talladega Superspeedway puts on 5 separate race events each year as host to the NASCAR Cup Series, Xfinity, Camping World Trucks, and the ARCA Series. Tonight, it's the Concrete Floors Company Next Gen Cup Series. It's coming up next on HBR TV. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. I'm Steve Singer with HBR TV. This is the Old Farts Sim Racing League, the Concrete Floors Company Next Gen Cup Series. We're here at Talladega Super Speedway tonight. Weather, a comfortable 72 degrees, 54% humidity. Awfully cloudy here, 4-mile-an-hour breeze. 78-degree track temp, not likely to come into too much of a factor. Track temp here on this big super speedway, handling not as important as you'd expect to see at tracks like Daytona, even the new Atlanta Super Speedway. Practice just about wrapped up. In fact, let's go down trackside, take a look at it, see where everybody's stacking up tonight. So far, it is the 78 as Lipinski fastest time. Again, these times likely all draft-induced. 49.84 will be awfully fast by yourself in qualifying trim. Current top 10 in the session against Lipinski, Witt, Richard, Perfin, Ochapinti, Gray, Martin, Turnmeyer, Lewis, and Green. Pretty hefty field here tonight, 32 cars. Talking to race admins throughout the season, this is kind of what they'd expect to see, typically a 30-car field. It's been hit and miss for some of the races, but Talladega brings everybody out. It's a fun race no matter what. Just about everybody out there has got a shot. You can miss the wrecks, put yourself in position for a win. You can sometimes pick one up where you didn't expect it. See Zach Millett practicing getting down pit lane and trying to maximize that time. Halfway decent job, except he missed the box. "30 seconds remain in the session. We'll jump right into the qualifying. Again, 5-minute session, 2 laps for each driver to lock themselves into this field. Noel Coors out there with a new paint scheme. It's the Napa Auto Parts number 15, maybe for good luck. Those cars back in the day with DEI used to run really well here at the super speedways. That's it. Clock strikes 0. Black and red flags go down to signify the end of the practice session, and we'll jump right into qualifying here in just a moment. Try to get an eyeball here, see who hits the track first. Looks like it might be Harold Decker. Number 9 Ford Mustang GT. Again, with a 5-minute session, we've talked about this a few times. We're not going to be able to see everybody's Q run here. We got, again, over 30 cars in the field, and we've lost Decker for a moment there. I don't know where he went, but we'll go to Gary Slapinski, see what he's doing. The 78 Furniture Row Mustang. He's the cone police officially. He had his own run-in with a cone at the last race, I believe. Hit the cone, got it stuck up underneath the car, affected his race for quite a while, then contact with another driver, loosened up the cone, and everything was back to normal, but too little too late. It cost him some track positions. I don't think he's going to be running over the pit exit cone at any point tonight. Maybe he didn't learn his lesson. Maybe he did. We'll see. Lipinski takes the green flag on lap 1 of his Q run. Again, we're already a minute and a half into this 5-minute session. Shouldn't be any time wasting for any of these drivers. If they're going to turn a lap, they better get out there and do it, especially if they want to get 2. In many cases, some drivers will kind of throw away that first lap and utilize it as kind of a up-to-speed lap, kind of a waste, I guess you could even call it. Take that second lap as the fastest. Other drivers kind of think the other way around. They'll take lap 1 and they'll get all they can right off the bat in case there is an issue on that timed lap, that money lap if you want to call it. Lipinski crosses the line, goes top of the board, 53.639. You see, it's about 4 seconds quicker than they were lapping in the practice session. No draft assistance here. Dan Bazilla goes P5 so far. Bazilla rocking the Tyler Reddick colors. If I'm not mistaken, I think Bazilla is an RCR employee. Don't quote me on that, but it certainly sounds familiar. If it's the same Dan Bazilla from Sirius XM and the Speedway in the afternoons, I think that is the now social media director, I believe it is, for RCR. Bazilla's first lap now dropping now to 12th position. It was a 54.17. Soft turn number 4. Let's see if he can pick up just a bit. '11th quick, 53.733 seconds for Dan Bazilla. That's going to put him 11th so far. Meanwhile, Craig White has locked in the fastest time. He's only got 1 lap in, a 53.570. About a half-tenth faster than second place Norman Clark. Clark wraps up lap 2, or does he? Just about. Drops it down to the flat through the tri-oval. Second lap, third fast, was not faster than the first. Giovanni Occhipinti out on track. Don't think his first lap registered unless he's just taken the green. He may have. Chris Goins in the YouTube stream chat. Now this is Super Speedway Racing. We're only qualifying, Chris. We're going to get to the race here in a little bit, but I think you're getting a little ahead of your skis. Occhipinti, 53.633. Good lap. Fifth fast. Just under 20 seconds remain in the session officially. Frank Perfin finishes up. He's 19th quick. Just about everybody that's going to take a lap has. You see this quite often, especially here in the sim. Drivers opting not to take a lap in qualifying on the super speedway. Zach Millett, one of them. Qualifying officially comes to its end. So let's take a look at our starting grid here at Talladega Super Speedway. The Concrete Floors Next Gen Cup Series on the pole position. Why, it's Craig White with Old Fart Sim Racing, the Canadian with the number 3. A lap of 53.570 to his outside. It's Daniel Lewis, just about maybe 0.02 of a second off of that pole. He starts outside front row in the 974. Tom Dixon out of Florida starts row 2 in the 3rd spot. And Norman Clark will start from the 4th position. 5th is Giovanni Occhipinti in the 000 out of New Jersey. Starting 6th, it's Paul Witt, 429. 6th starting position of Paul Witt. Sorry, little brain fart there. Rick Nichols in the 60s, starting in the 7th spot. Frank Gramuglia in the 8th position. Gary Zlipinski, the number 78, he starts 9th. Harold Decker starts in the 10th position. Earl Latterell does make it into the session, starts in the 11th spot. Travis Turnmeyer rolls off in the 12th position. 13th goes to Randolph Richard, the 988 machine. Mike Rominger, 14th. 15th goes to Joshua Deese. Noel Kors starts in the 16th position. Dan Bazilla rolling off from the 17th starting spot. James Randall, the 3rd, the number 69, he starts 18th. Frank Perfin starts in the 19th position. John Stepanich, the 909 starts 20th. We'll get them figured out eventually, folks. Trent Ringler starts 21st. Corey Gray starts 22nd. Mark Robertson, 23rd. Zach Millett, the home skillet, starts 24th. Mike Martin, 25th. James Lujan, we're going to go with that. I might have butchered it. I'm sorry, James. Starts 26th. Michael Howlett, 27th. Alan McEwen starts 28th. 29th goes to Bradley Cockrell, the 986 machine. And then David Wasselchuk, the 976, starts 30th. Joe Green, 31st. Brad Allison, the Aussie, starting shotgun on the field in 32nd position. That's your starting grid for the Concrete Floors Next Gen Cup Series, Talladega Super Speedway. 100 laps. We got stage breaks at lap 25 and lap 50. We're going to need them, I have a feeling. Field rolls off from the starting grid. 1 pace lap before we go to the green flag. Field working turn number 3. Get a long ways around here. It's not as close as it is with Daytona International with the start-finish line right in the center of the tri-oval. Here at Talladega, it is past the tri-oval, right about where pit exit is. It's going to make a difference to where these guys get into the throttle and get rolling here as the green flag about to come out. Pace car is going to peel off quite a ways before they make it to start-finish.
Green flag.
Green flag waves were underway from Talladega Super Speedway. Craig White leads them to the stripe. We're off and running down into turn number 1. Lap 1 complete, everyone up to full song. Craig White with the top spot. Daniel Lewis, the 974 machine, just to the outside, only inches out of the lead. 75 lap race here tonight. Got to expect at least the first third, maybe even 2/3 of it, the first 2 stages that is. See these guys kind of mind their P's and Q's, get a rhythm underneath them, kind of feel out who they can work with, who they can't. So we see Dan Lewis go to the top spot. He clears Craig White. White slips back to the 4th position, maybe even 5th if he's got the 13 of Gramuglia to the outside with some help. Craig White nowhere really to go with cars in front. The 13 of Gramuglia can advance forward. As soon as I say that, of course, someone slides up in front of him, picks him up, picks up that draft. He's trying to march forward. That's the 429 of Paul Witt. Out front, Paul Witt trying to go to the top spot. He's got the 13 of Gramuglia giving him a push off turn number 4. He's going to cross down to the bottom, possibly. He's got the opportunity. He's got the room, and he does just that. Sends that car down to the bottom lane. He takes over the top spot, but not for long. Frank Gramuglia takes that momentum. He takes the top spot. Now he's got the 9 of Decker in behind. The 54 of Travis Turnmeyer, he's up in the mix as well. He drops to the low side in front of Witt. Decker, a little bit of a connection issue there at the front of the field. Not a terrible place to have it happen. You certainly don't want to be mixed in the middle of the pack when you lose that connection. Comes back awfully quick, though. No harm, no foul. We continue on, approaching lap number 5. Top 5 in no particular order other than Decker out in front. As soon as I say that, Gramuglia noses to the front. A little bit of help from the 951 of Mike Rominger. Rominger has moved up quite a few spots already, 11 to be specific. Up into the 3rd spot now. Is he pushing for more? The 13 is going to go to the front. Rominger is going to follow him through. Gramuglia drops to the bottom in front of Decker. Now Rominger is going to rely on the 15 and Old Course for some drafting help, but nobody behind the 15. Bottom side, Gramuglia, Decker, and the 54 of Turnmeyer. Big push from the 9 there on the bottom. Rominger and the 15 pretty well separated. More battles behind these leaders, 3 wide for 3 rows. Daniel Lewis there on the bottom, the 69 of James Randall in the middle, Lipinski up top. Dan Bazilla has worked his way up 6 spots into the 11th position, looking for more. Definitely plenty of room to go 3 wide here at Talladega Super Speedway. Could probably even go 4. Why would you want to? Quite early for it, but it is possible. We may even see it here later on in the race. Coming to the checkered flag, and we're likely going to see a lot of tire smoke and bent metal after that. Frank Gramuglia, though, happy out in front. The 429 of Paul Whitten. We got a crash on track. Big trouble off turn number 2. Earl Lateral involved. Dan Bazilla, Earl Lateral, James Randall, John Stepanich. All drivers involved in this one. Let's try and get a look at it, see what happened. We're into it late here. Let's back things up again. I hate doing the rewind, but sometimes on these super speedways you don't have much choice. It looked like it precipitated itself between the 69 and the 981 of Dan Bazilla. Let's see if we can watch it here. Now, Dan Bazilla is the 981, that 3 Chief-sponsored machine in the middle. The 69 makes contact with Earl Lateral up top. Earl gets into the fence. Bazilla goes to the bottom to try to avoid, but the 411 machine doesn't see what's happening. Makes contact with Bazilla, sends him back into the 69, which subsequently puts him back into Earl Lateral. Bazilla down across the nose of the 67. He gets collected as well. Some pretty hard impacts for these guys. Just happy it's a sim and not the real thing, because that would have hurt on many different levels. Under caution for the first time, field working turn number 2. Curious if we're going to have any takers down pit lane here. Maybe, maybe, maybe. Nope. Got a couple, Zach Millett being one of them. The 88 of Mark Robertson. Lime green paint scheme. It's fun to say, but no sponsors on that machine. Plenty of space available. Unlimited tire sets, full fuel load, so these guys are likely at the back. Why not? Take the opportunity, put some fresh rubber on both cars, both sides, get the fuel loaded up. Keep the handling consistent, at least, to be able to make a little bit more aggressive moves with the better tire. Again, it's not super, super important on the super speedway like Talladega, but a little bit extra grip never hurt anybody. Allows you to kind of knife your way through if need be. Again, if you're not a top 10, top 15 car, I wouldn't necessarily do that, but if you're behind those guys, not a terrible strategy. Field working turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Pace car lights are on. We are going to take a very short break before we go back to the green flag. Stay with us. We'll be back after this.
The great thing about youth sports, they give young people an opportunity to participate in something that is going to broaden them as people.
I think it's very amazing that Garza Law Firm has made a commitment to help the youth kids with playing different sports.
Guys like Marcos Garza that put their time into being able to help these kids live out a dream. It's made me who I am today.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Talladega, Alabama, Talladega Super Speedway. The Concrete Floors Next Gen Cup Series presented by Old Fart Sim Racing. Just working our first caution here at the Speedway. Pace car lights are off, getting ready to go back to the green flag momentarily. Field working through turns 3 and 4. Last caution involving many drivers: James Randall, Earl Latterell, Dan Bazilla, John Stepanich, to name a few. Other drivers getting caught up in it as well. Fast repairs are available for this particular event, 2 to be specific. So some drivers already burning that first one here early. 10 laps in. We're going to approach lap 11 here as the green flag is going to come out momentarily. Only got one more mulligan to work to your advantage later on. Hopefully you don't need to use it at all, but if you do, it is still there. It is Talladega after all. I would expect you may need at least one. Some already have. Pace car is down. Green flag waves as the field works through the Geico restart zone. We're back underway from Talladega Super Speedway. Field once again up to full speed as they get through the tri-oval, back to the start-finish line. Paul Witt still your leaders. Lipinski is second. Rick Nichols in the third spot, marked as the 60s. Only running a number 6 on that machine, so don't let that confuse you. There was some questions early as to who that may have been. We saw the 6. We weren't sure if it was the 60. We know for sure now based on running order. Rick Nichols. Timing and scoring as the 60, paint scheme as the 6. Frank Gramuglia there in P4, the number 13, and Harold Decker, a 5th spot in the 9. Two distinct packs here so far. Really quickly, that formed up after the restart. Don't know if there were some guys that were kind of trailing on the initial restart as the green flag waved, but without a doubt, two distinct drafting packs here together. Those guys in that second group can get lined up single file, while these guys out in front are battling for position. They could certainly make up that deficit, catch up to this group, and make it one big happy family. Paul Witt, though, looking strong out front. What's he got on that car? Is it a Spider-Man sponsored car? Looks to be Spidey Amazing Friends. I think Paul Witt's got some kids. I'm just going to venture out on a limb there. Good looking paint scheme nonetheless. They all look good when they're out in front. Gary Lipinski there in P2. I like that number 78, that Furniture Row paint scheme. That's I know it says Cone Police on the side, but that makes me think back to the Truex days in that number. Let's try to catch some other battles throughout the field. Daniel Lewis, the 974, battling with Noel Coors. Coors on the bottom, but help coming there in the form of the 54 of Travis Turnmeyer. See Craig White there in the black and white number 3. Old far it's sim racing on that machine, and he's got Rominger going to the outside with a big run.
Caution, caution.
Caution on the speedway once again. Who's involved in this? Not 100% sure. It's not a stage break. That wasn't due until 25 as far as I knew. But I don't see anything on track that would indicate a problem, so maybe this indeed is the stage. Gonna try and jump over and get a confirmation on that, folks. Stay with us, we'll be back. Paul, congratulations on winning stage number 1. We noticed a fuel-only stop on that pit stop. Tell us about any future strategy you may have tonight. I don't know if you want to give us too much information, but tell us about your first stage.
Well, the first stage was perfect. You know, couldn't do it any better. Running with Gary tonight, and we're running very well, and we just need to just keep it up and stay out of business.
Well, you're going to restart this one, it looks like, in the 6th position. You got 5 ahead of you, 2 of which never touched pit road today, at least. That'd be Decker and White. So good luck going forward. Mind your P's and Q's and keep the fenders on that thing. Good luck for the rest of the race.
All right, thank you, sir.
It was Paul Witt, your stage 1 winner here at Talladega. Again, confirming that lap 15 was indeed the stage. Typically in the Concrete Floors Next Gen Series, it's 25 and 50. That's kind of what we expected it to be. Indeed, it is 15 and 30 instead of the traditional 25 and 50. Again, some tracks vary based on the size of the track. Talladega being the largest track that they go to on the ovals, 2.66 miles. Changed up the stage lengths just a bit, so glad we got that confirmed. But nevertheless, stage 2 will come to an end at lap 30. So it looks like our new leader is going to be Harold Decker through that cycle. Him and Craig White both opted not to pit under this caution. I'm not 100% sure. They may just believe that they can make it to the end of this stage. Pace car lights go off, so we're going to get the restart here at lap 19. So that's going to give us 12 laps to finish up the stage. full fuel load. They can probably make it. There might not be a benefit to pitting here. These guys may have got this figured out, but nonetheless, they will need to pit. Pretty much everybody's going to need to pit stage 2 because it's a much longer stage 3 than we had in these first two. But strategy's already at play here early on. You see Zach Millett up in that 4th position. He started in 24th today. Millett did stop. In fact, he is the first car to the outside there that opted to pit. And in fact, with his pit time, he very well could have taken tires. Looking a little bit closer at this, Millett and Perfin, that is 3rd and 4th. They pit at laps 7 and 8, respectively. So they pit a little short before the stage ended. So again, more strategies there. The top 2 didn't pit at all. The 3rd and 4th, they pit midway through that first stage. Everybody else pit this time on this caution. So we'll see how it plays out for everybody involved. Certainly exciting to see which strategy is going to pay off. Pace car heads to pit lane. Field formed up 2 by 2. Decker out to a bit of an advantage here already. A couple car lengths almost back to the 67.
Green flag.
Green flag waves are back underway. Again, that gap out front that Decker had, I wouldn't necessarily call it an advantage because here at a place like Talladega, even Daytona, the super speedways in general, you don't want to put too much gap between yourself and the cars in behind because that's your drafting help. That's what's going to give you that push. As you see that outside line, they stayed nice and tight together. Craig White goes back to the top spot with the help of Zach Millett. 429 of Paul Witt, stage 1 winner, already up to P3 off turn number 2 down the back. Decker goes from top spot back to 6th just about immediately as soon as they're into turn number 3. Not a good restart for the 9. Masterful restart for the 3 of Craig White. Zach Millett drops down in behind the 3 as well in that 2nd position down low. Paul Witt with some help from the 15 of Noel Coors. Don't know if he's got enough, but both packs, top and bottom, pretty well organized as they cross the stripe here. 20 laps go on the board. Again, a real short stage 2 here. We're going to go to lap 30 to wrap up the stage. So we've got just about 10 laps to go before we finish this one up. And then it is that longer final stage. Roughly 41 laps if all the greens come out when we think they will. Meanwhile, Paul Witt wasting no time back to the top spot. But we're going to watch this battle here. 3 wide they run. Lipinski up top, Decker on the bottom, and in the middle, 411 machine of Tom Dixon. Decker picks up a draft off the 77 of Mike Martin. Man, I saw some cars jump into the top there. Looks like, oh, we do have a trouble in the turn number 2. I thought I saw somebody out of shape, and I was right. We got some cars in trouble. Exit at turn number 2, down the backstretch. Norman Clark, Mike Howlett, Joshua Deese, all involved. Yeah, the 09's going to make some really good left turns with that thing turned out like that. Not good. Definitely some broken suspension on that Camaro. Deese running slow. Some damage for sure, but not quite as bad. Well, let's take a look at it, see exactly what happened here off turn number 2. Watch the 09 here of Norman Clark. Contact was made between himself. Looks like Zlapinski. He comes down, collects the 45. And then it's a melee from there. Rominger's in it. Earl Lateral in it again. That's another fast repair, likely for the 12. Just the 5. Really nowhere to go other than checking up. Just drills the 09. That was Joshua Deese in that number 5. Big trouble, second caution not long after the restart here at Talladega Super Speedway. Question in the stream chat on the YouTube side. Again, Chris Gones asking about fast repairs. Yes, indeedy, they do have 2. We've had 2 big ones already. I'd say 4 to 5 cars involved in each. We haven't wrecked the whole field in one shot yet, but it is a super speedway. There's still time. Some drivers, I think Earl Lateral is the only one that I've seen so far that definitively is going to be using 2 fast repairs to stay in this one. One on the first caution, he gets caught up in this one as well. That would be the 12 of Earl Lateral. But we'll see how it pans out here the rest of the way. We are going to step aside once again with this caution, get another break out of the way. I know there's no on-track action, but we're going to go side by side anyway. Stay with us, folks.
The great thing about youth sports, they give young people an opportunity to participate in something that is going to broaden them as people.
I think it's very amazing that Garza Law Firm has made a commitment to help the youth kids with playing different sports.
Guys like Marcos Garza that put their time into being able to help these kids live out a dream. It's made me who I am today.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Talladega Super Speedway. About to get to the 1/3 distance here is lap 25 about to go on the board. When the green flag comes back out, we ride on board with Paul Witt, your current leader and Stage 1 winner. Working caution once again here at the Speedway. Some drivers using their second fast repairs already. Earl Lateral, one of them. Field formed up 2 by 2, getting ready to take the green flag once again. It's going to be a pretty short run here to close out the stage. Of course, lap 25 will go on the board. We need to make it to lap 30 to close out stage number 2. Eddie Rose in the stream chat. HBR TV looking good tonight. Thank you, Eddie. Appreciate it. This field is looking good. Plenty of cars out here tonight. Plenty of talent, that's for sure as well. Pace car hits pit lane. Got a ways to go here. Got to get in the Geico restart zone. You'll see it painted there on the flat through the tri-oval. They get to it right about now.
Green flag.
Green flag in the air. Paul Witt in the throttle. 15 to 0 cores to the outside. Good restart for both front runners here. Paul Witt with a pusher in behind. That is Zach Millett, the 315 car down low. Millett listed as the 967, but 315 painted on the doors. Big time push from the 60 of Rick Nichols is going to put Noel Coors out in front of this one. Slides Paul Witt back to P4. Craig White on the outside on the top side, going for P3 and more. Some help from the 411 of Tom Dixon. Also the 54 of Travis Turnmeyer coming. I know we're getting towards the end of a stage here, but it looks like we're getting towards the end of the race, the way these guys are shuffling around here, trying to jockey for position, take advantage of the runs that they've been getting. Still got 2/3 of this race left to run. And some guys that have already burned one and in some cases 2 fast repairs. Right now the 5 of Joseph Deese, the first car 1 lap down. So Deese would get the lucky dog if we were to get the caution here. Turnmeyer making a move to the bottom here, trying to take the top spot. No, that was the 54 with the lead. Turnmeyer to the outside, but it's the 974 of Daniel Lewis trying to take it away. Big time movement there mid-pack. Everybody spreads out. Maybe some contact, maybe not, but they all get through clean. Paul Witt wasting no time to get back to the front. There was Lipinski again, a big-time drafting partner there, and we're 3 wide, just about everybody behind the top 2 off turn number 2. Big run coming to the outside. Daniel Lewis powers out in front, drafting help from Bradley Cockrell. Coming to 28 laps. Close quarters clearing there. The 986 of Bradley Cockrell going across the nose there of Paul Witt. Only inches to spare. Goes to the front. Travis Turnmeyer right there trying to take it back. Again, these are just inches between first to second, first to second. They're going back and forth, seesaw. It's just like that. Gramuglia takes the top spot. Turnmeyer there in second now. Not even a car length back, but now side by side on the outside off turn number 2. Down the backstretch again, both lanes with drafting help, at least 3 or 4 deep. Rominger's got some help though too. He's gonna go 3 wide here and try to move some positions forward. About 4 to 6 cars on that ultra high side. In the middle there's 2 and then about 4 more. Those 4 cars, if they can tuck in behind the two in the middle, they could certainly dance a little bit with these guys. But Zach Millett looks to be on his own island there in the middle. The 315 loses touch with his drafting partner, picks up the guys in the middle. Now we got a drafting line in the center. 4 cars, and everybody scatters across the start-finish line. Not sure if Rominger got it or not, or if we're going to wait until the completion of lap 30 to end the stage. Usually it's right when they make it across the line.
Caution,
There's the caution. Turnmeyer currently the leader. I'm not 100% sure who got this. We're going to jump over and see if we can get a word and find out exactly who's going to get this stage win. Stay with us. So it is confirmed, Mike Rominger with the stage number 2 win. Stage credited at the line. Caution came out a little late compared to what we usually see. Just had to double check with the race officials to be certain. It is indeed Mike Rominger, the 951, your stage 2 winner. Now, Mike Rominger not available for comment during the race broadcast. He's not in the chat, so we cannot go to him to get a quick interview. That's okay. If he's up in this top 3 post-race, possibly we'll get a chance to talk with the 951. But here's where we're going to see some of this early race strategy come into the mix. We saw some guys stay out, some guys go fuel only, some guys take 4 tires. Looks like everybody's down pit lane here. .9-second stop for Mike Rominger. Fuel only once again. Looks like Dave Wasselchuk stayed on the racetrack. It was close at the line. I'm not 100% sure if Rominger is going to be slotted in front of or behind him. It looks like he's going to be getting the spot here. Wasselchuk, the 976, he's going to have to slide back a bit, give up some spots. Stayed on the racetrack, did not pit. Looks like Michael Howlett, same situation for the 33. He stayed on the racetrack, did not opt to hit down pit road and get tires and fuel, or one or the other, or both. Unfriendly skies here today at Talladega Superspeedway. No rain in the forecast, thankfully. Certainly no sunshine either. Current top 5 is Howlett, Rominger. Looks like Turnmeyer, Wasselchuk, and Randolph Richard. P6, we have Frank Gramuglia. 7th is Giovanni Ochapinti. 8th, it's Daniel Lewis. 9th, Gary Slapinski. 10th, Rick Nichols. Then it's Norman Clark, 11th. Zach Millett, 12th. Paul Witt, 13th. Watch Paul Witt. 14th is Mike Martin. Alan McEwen, 15th. Craig White, 16th. Trent Ringler, 17th. 18th position, Frank Perfin. Mark Robertson, 19th. Tom Dixon, 20th. Noel Coors, 21st. 22nd, Harold Decker. 23rd, John Stepanich. Corey Gray's 24th. 25th, Bradley Cockrell. Joseph Green is in the 26th spot. Last car on the lead lap, Joshua Deese, did indeed get that lucky dog that we talked about. See John Stepanich hitting pit lane here. Earl Lateral also into the pit box. Quick turnaround, pace car lights are off. Field's formed up here off turn number 2, getting ready to go back to the green flag. It'll be lap 34 as we cross the stripe. Still shy of the halfway point of this race, but this begins stage number 3. About a 42 lap run here in stage 3, if you count that final lap. For this restart, let's jump on board the 33 of Michael Howlett. See what he sees as the green flag drops.
Green flag.
Doesn't get any closer than that. We complete lap number 1, or just about to. Mike Howlett still with the top spot. Not for lack of trying. Another car going to the outside. That's the 000 Giovanni Ochapini into turn number 1 to the outside. Again, 000, no sponsor. Gray Ghost looking machine to the outside with help from the 60 of Rick Nichols. Position in turns 3 and 4. Back on the charge, back to P3 by a nose. Gramuglia to the outside in the 13. He's got a little bit of drafting help from Zlapinski. Zlapinski's been one to work with. He's been up in that top 5, top 2, even leading a little bit here this afternoon. Certainly knows how to get it done on these super speedways. Ochapini still on the bottom. Gramuglia now to the outside. Taking a look at the top spot. Zlapinski giving him a bit of a push. Nothing too aggressive as he work off turn number 2, but Ochapini drops to the bottom, or does he? No, that was Gramuglia dropped in front of Ochapini. He goes to the bottom side, wants to defend from there, but Zlapinski again with a run to the outside. Here comes Mike Rominger to the top spot, top side that is, but with little to no drafting help, not going to go far. Trying to develop that top side, that third lane up on the top, but there's only 3 cars with him, and they continue to free fall. Advantage goes to the bottom and middle. Now just two defined lanes here as they go through the tri-oval. Zlipinski out in front. Gramuglia there to the inside in front with that lead, that line. Millett goes to P2. Paul Witt up to P3. Travis Turnmeyer, the 54, fourth position. Now Witt drops to the bottom, the inside of Zach Millett. Slides up the track just a bit. A little nervous, but nothing crazy. No contact made. They work down the back straightaway once again. Millett in the fourth position, battling back to the outside. Some help coming from the 54. Officially past the halfway point of tonight's race here from Talladega Super Speedway into our third stage of the evening. Lap 38 goes up on the board. Lipinski again strong up in the middle of the top lane. Paul Witt taking a peek to the inside. Nothing going there yet. Maybe could have really gotten away with it. He had a run, and it looked like Millett did as well. Maybe so did the 54 of Turnmeyer. Frank Ramuglia slipped back to the 8th position. Tell you the way Paul Witt's peeking in and out of the back bumper of Gary Zlipinski. He's got to be careful. Netcode can bite you in these next-gen cars, really any of the cars on the sim. It's not as bad here at Talladega Super Speedway, but at these speeds, it doesn't take much. A little bit of contact when you're not quite center, especially in these cars. You just don't like to see it. Can end in disaster, but so far, so good. Zlipinski there in the middle lane. Paul Witt pushing, but up topside. Here comes that run. 974, Daniel Lewis once again pushed to the front by Tom Dixon. Little help coming behind Frank Perfin, that red number 67. Again, no sponsors there, plenty of room for stickers. Lewis going to maintain the top spot off turn number 4. Still drafting help outside lane of only 5 cars, making it work here. Curious if Lewis will drop down to the middle in front of Zlipinski. So far, he does not. Sticks with his dancing partner. Cross the stripe. Lap 40 goes on the board. 36 official laps remain. Zlipinski noses to the front here. Middle of turns 1 and 2 with some drafting help. Only the 3 of them. Paul Witt and Zach Millett in behind, but they're making it work. Howlett trying to get into this mix as well as the 54 of Turnmeyer. Lewis stays out in front and he keeps it up topside, does not want to drop down below. He sees that top lane starting to get a little more organization to it. We've said that a couple of times here tonight. Being organized, what does that mean when you're super speedway racing? It not only means you've got some cars in a pack, multiple, preferably 3, 4, 5. 5 is better, 6 is great, 7 is even better, and so on and so forth. But if you can get them all lined up single file, granted these lines, there's 3 of them, top, middle, and high side. The more straight line you can run together, the faster that train of cars is going to go. So that what we call is being organized. You can make it basically one race car in each lane. They can go a lot faster together. They kind of divide all that wind resistance between all the cars, and there's plenty of horsepower in between them all to push them towards the front. But you do see Lewis does drop down to the middle lane across the nose of Zlipinski. Zlipinski can lead, he can push, he can do whatever you need him to do, so he's certainly a good one to drop down in front of. Meanwhile, Noel Coors has taken over the top spot. Gramuglia now P2, and down in the third spot, Giovanni Otrapinti. He takes over that position. Daniel Lewis, Gary Zlipinski, that's your top 5 currently as they cross the stripe, lap 42. Lewis, smart move to duck down in front of Zlipinski a lap or 2 ago because it's paying off. It's gotten him back out in front of this field. Zlipinski up top, but you see Lewis drop to the bottom. You see what he's doing here. He's kind of working both lanes, top, bottom, bottom, top, top, bottom, so on and so forth, kind of sticking there in the middle as well, seeing if anybody wants to take the bait. Nobody does, so it's not going to work for him. But what it seemed like he was doing, we've seen guys do this, kind of work both drafting lines, kind of pull one along, then get out of the way, then pull the other one along to kind of keep them side by side in behind you. Dale Jr. was famous for that over the years, got real good at it, won some races doing it, but tonight it bit Lewis. He got stuck in the middle, and they went around him on both sides. Noel Core is your current leader. Then it's Gramuglia, Nichols, Ochapini, and Zlipinski. That's the top 5. And it changes about every 100 yards around this place, but that's how I call it when I see it. Harold Decker drops like a rock a bunch of spots. What is going on with the 9? I don't know if he got crossed up, maybe some contact. He seems a little off pace. In the 14th position, he was running within the lower half of the top 10 at the time. He's lost 5 to 7 spots. Rominger in a battle off turn number 2. He is that machine, the 951 on the high side. Battling with the 411 to Tom Dixon. Paul Witt with the lead, goes to block the lanes or kind of pull those guys along, but it's going to open the door to Zach Millett. Millett on the bottom, the 315, that S4 guy machine. Not going to pan out for him so far, though. Didn't make it work. Lewis again goes to the top, picks up the high side line. Millett drops back from almost first to 9th, just like that. So top 2, it's Lewis, Dixon, then it's 3rd, Paul Witt, 4th, Zlipinski, 5th, Trent Ringler, a new name to the top 5. Top 2 actually got out to a decent advantage considering what's behind them, but it's not going to last for long. They are disorganized. The top 2 drivers, Lewis and Dixon, with pretty much no help, maybe help coming, but on the outside, you've got Zlipinski and Witt drafting high, wide, and handsome off turn number 4. Paul Witt, your new leaders. Lipinski, Ringler, Millett back into the top 5 and 4th. Daniel Lewis in 5th. See how quickly things can change, whether you've got a good run or a bad run. You can go forward or back in the blink of an eye and lose a ton of spots. We saw Harold Decker go from about the middle to back end of the top 10 down to the mid-15s, almost the low teens. He's worked his way back just a bit. Zach Millett kind of did the same thing. He's back up into P4. I got to tell you, though, there's a lot of guys out there that say that these super speedway races, it's nothing but luck. It doesn't take any skill. And to a certain extent, yes, there is certainly luck involved. You could be running, 10th, 15th all night long, and if you keep the nose clean, you stay out of everybody else's problems, and all of a sudden, the top 5 cars wreck, come into the stripe, and you pick up the win. Okay, yeah, that's some luck. But you had to keep the car clean. You had to get it there. You had to put it in position for that to happen. But speaking of the talent involved in this, who will we see out front? Paul Witt, Gary Zlipinski. Who have we seen out front most of the night? Paul Witt, Gary Zlipinski. Definitely some talent required to get it done here, at least effectively. Know when to make the moves, know when not to make the moves, what lane is moving. You're looking out the front windshield, you're looking out the back window constantly. Kind of see where these runs are coming from. You got spotters in this league. Obviously, it's mostly the digital spotter. You don't have real life spotters. But in the real life racing, you've got a spotter on the roof looking at the runs, saying, all right, the 9's coming, or the 22's looking low, or he's going to come high, or whatever the case is. This only tells you when there's actually a car beside you or if there's a wreck ahead, that sort of thing. You don't have a real-life spotter that can watch some movement, anticipate other drivers' moves, and relay that information. So these guys are doing a lot of mirror driving to see what run is coming, what lane do I need to be in. Meanwhile, you're also looking out the front windshield. If you're not leading this race, you're double dutying it with the eyeballs. Top three starting to get away. It's Witt, Lipinski, and Trent Ringler. We haven't seen him a whole lot today. He's up 18 spots so far. Biggest mover of the day up into the P3. And once again, it looks like we've got two distinct packs. The lead pack, pretty big, 20-plus cars in it. And then that second pack in behind, maybe 8 to 10. Same situation, though. If they can get lined up one by one big train of cars, and just kind of truck around here and ride, they could absolutely catch this front pack. Lap ago, the top three had an advantage over the rest of this pack. Evaporates very quickly. Mike Rominger, he's now to the bottom with some help from Lewis. Daniel, that is. Paul Witt still with the lead, but Rominger trying to attack on the bottoms. Lipinski up top, giving Witt the push. Daniel Lewis trying to give a push to Mike Rominger, but it is to no avail. Top three remain: Witt, Lipinski, Ringler, then Mark Robinson, and then Mike Rominger. Zach Millett 6th, Lewis 8th, Rick Nichols, Giovanni Occhipini is 9th, 10th was Nolan Gores. That has already switched. 25 laps to go here from Talladega Super Speedway. Paul Witt out front. Top four unchanged, but Zach Millett jumps into the top five. You see that second pack. We talked about it a few laps ago. If they get formed up single file and stay organized, if they do it right, they've got time and the ability to catch these leaders. Unfortunately, you've got two stragglers there in that 6-car pack that aren't really tucked up in tight. If they can close in, make it a 6-car draft, I think they've got enough to catch up, but they're going to need to do it right now. Earl Lateral, Craig White, the top 2 cars in that pack. Oh, we got a slow car to the inside. Might have been Giovanni Occhipini. Indeed it was. The 000, that just silver chrome paint scheme Ford Mustang. No sponsors on that machine. Don't know exactly what happened, but no caution. Big detriment to the 000. Let's see if we can get a look and see exactly what happened. It's off turn number 2. Occhipini there on the bottom slides up a little bit, makes contact. Didn't catch who it was, but he's going to hit the wall hard here to the inside driver's side. Spins it around, keeps it out of the racing line. Explains why we did not get a caution for it. Obviously, in the real world, we're worried about injuries. We would have thrown a yellow for that, but a single car incident that doesn't involve anybody else after the fact, we stay under the green flag here at Talladega Super Speedway. So your new top 5, Paul Witt, Gary Slapinski, Trent Ringler, Zach Millett, Mike Rominger. A lot of familiar names up front. We've seen them kind of all change positions within that top 5 numerous times. Coach Penny was up there for quite a while, had his problems, and unfortunately for him, definitely out of the running to win this one here tonight. But there you see it. Now these packs have started to split once again. We've got 3, 6, 7 car pack at the front of the field, about the same there in the middle. Now you got 3 distinct packs, and everyone's kind of single file, so this front group going to start to truck away from everybody else. You see they're still side by side in behind them. Pit stops underway here under the green flag as well. It's like Michael Howlett, Harold Decker, Frank Gramuglia all coming down pit lane together. Smart move. Different manufacturers amongst these 3, but you want drafting partners nonetheless. The key here is no mistakes, and that you know that everyone's either taking tires and fuel, or 2 tires and fuel, or fuel only, and this is where the problem is. Harold Decker misses the pit box. If the plan was to come down here with a partner and leave with a partner, it's not going to work out for Decker. He is down and away. Gramuglia might have waited for him, not sure. Definitely a longer stop for Gramuglia, 11.5. Decker was a 6.7. So they're going to be able to draft together, but again, just 2 cars. They're not going to be as fast as multiples, 3, 4, 5 or more. Heck, it sure beats being by yourself, but Decker is kind of getting away here. He's up to speed as well, but Gramuglia not tucked up tight. You want to get nose to tail as soon as you can. Don't check up. Don't hit the brakes. Even if the guy's got to bump the back bumper of your car to get you moving, just go. Paul Witt still out front, followed by Gary Slapinski. We'll see if they opt for pit lane with 19 to go, coming to 18 to go. No, they stay on the racetrack. Howlett got out of the pit lanes kind of by himself out of the draft. He's going to lose a lap here. But for his sake, if he can hang on to this pack, the tail end of it, if the entire pack ahead of him does not pit at the same time, he might cycle through this okay. Unfortunately, it does not look like that's going to work out for him. He's about 8 car lengths behind this lead group. Paul Witt, Gary Slapinski, Trent Ringler off 4 again. They bypass the pit entrance, coming to 17 laps to go. Again, everyone on likely the same strategy. I think everybody took fuel the end of stage 3. I'm sorry, end of stage 2. Some guys might be short pitting this stage, just trying to get an advantage, get it out of the way now. It didn't really seem to work. There was only a trio that came down pit lane that time. Paul Witt in this lead group starting to close in on some slower traffic just ahead. It is the 2-car draft. Frank Gramuglia and Harold Decker. They really got to get tucked up close there. Again, the 13 of Gramuglia can definitely get closer to the 9 there. We're talking less than a foot. You got to get the nose right underneath the back bumper of that car in front of you. Really maximize it. If you're not overheating, you're not close enough. Thankfully for this, they will catch this smaller pack. They will pick up a little bit of speed by themselves, and this is not what you want to see. They're switching spots here. I don't know if Gramuglia is getting overheated or if they're just getting out of the way, but If they can duck down and pick up this tail field, we talked about that with the last car. I think that was Howlett, but he was by himself. They might have better odds of working to the backside of this lead draft. Again, many of these drivers out front, they still might need a pit stop. I don't know if those three that opted to pit were off sequence, didn't take fuel on the final stage break. But I would imagine here with that long third stage, a lot of times they plan that intentionally to force a green flag stop there at the end. Definitely happened for three of the drivers, and it's not worked out to their advantage to this point as they're all down a lap because of it. And here they come, down pit lane. We expected this. The leader's down pit roads. Lipinski's going to beat him into the pit lane. Hopefully he didn't speed. Paul Witt comes in there in the second spot. Lipinski in the box. Looks like fuel only for the number 78. Down and away, a quick stop, 7.2 seconds. Dixon was about a 5.3. Trent Ringler stop a 6.32. John Stepanich 4.6, but that was back on lap 32. Other drivers, Corey Gray, Josh D, Stan Lewis, now they're down pit road. Deese gets into the box perfect. Down and away goes Deese, 7.3 seconds. Corey Gray, 7.5. Long stop for Lewis. Don't know if he was taking tires or just extra fuel or possibly a pit road speeding violation. Through all this, though, Craig White has cycled to the top spot. Last pit stop for the leaders at this point, lap 31. The top three, that is, White, Richard, and Martin, all pit lap 31. They will need to make a final stop, I believe, to make it to the checkers. Caution flag, I think, is the only thing that could save them at this point. Craig White drafting off Earl Latterell right now. Again, Earl, the last car on the lead lap, running in the 16th position, just ahead there of Craig White. Craig White in the 3 is your race leader. Second place in just behind is the 988. That is Randolph Richard. Leaders off turn number 4. They stay on the racetrack once again. This is working out for Craig White once again, though. He is tucked in behind there of Earl Latterell. Earl, the last car on the lead lap. It's advantageous for Craig to stay in behind. He can draft off the 12, save fuel that way as well. Can almost lift out of the throttle a little bit. If you got a good enough draft, you can definitely check up a little bit, maintain the speed of the car in front of you, especially in his case. He's got Randolph Richard to the back door there. That's going to help as well. Right now, it's Craig White and Richard, top 2. Third place is Mike Martin. He's about 8 seconds in the rears. He does have a bigger pack to work with, though, and he's got some fast guys. Mike Martin in P3. He's got some lap cars out in front of him right now, but again, that is the draft that he's working with. However, these guys look like they're battling for position, so every time a car pulls out of line, it changes the draft dynamics and how fast that lane can go. Adds a bit of dirty air to the equation, not something that you want. Again, in this case, perfect world, line them up, single file, keep your foot down and go. Speaking of fun paint schemes, though, the 77 of Mike Martin, who runs third. He's running that Minions paint scheme. For all the kids up at 9:30 on the East Coast, take a look. And they're going to peel off the racetrack, it looks like. Indeed. So Mike Martin from P3, as are Craig White and Randolph Richard. All top three drivers down pit road. Paul Witt looks like he may cycle back to the top spot here. Paul Witt, the 429, has been so strong all night long. Got Zach Millett in behind. He's going to come to the start-finish line. It'll be 8 laps to go, and he's going to have the lead. Second place is Zach Millett, Trent Ringler third. Gary Zlopinski and Randolph Richard, after his stop, still maintains that 5th position. Top 4 tightly together here at the front of the field. Zlopinski runs in the 4th position. Josh Deese is in 5th, but he's actually 6.3 seconds back. Daniel Lewis, the 974 there, just behind Zlopinski. He is the first car 1 lap down. Playing a part as far as the draft is concerned, but if we get a caution, then we do have the opportunity to do 2 green-white checkered finishes if need be, but if we get a caution, Lewis would get back on the lead lap, would be able to get that lucky dog. Paul Witt still out in front. No change for the lead here. Zach Millett biding his time here in that 2nd spot, trying to decide when is it time to go. Does Trent Ringler go with you if you pull out to try and pass here? Or do you just hang tough there for that 2nd spot? You can finish 2nd if you stay put. You got a chance for the win if you pull out to try and pass, but there's a likelihood that he doesn't go with you and he just shotguns you to the back, freight trains you to the rear. Worst you're going to finish in this case, if that happens and you don't wreck, is P4. So I got to think that if I'm Zach Millett, coming to the white flag or coming to the checkers, I got to at least try to make that move. Zach Millett's a full send kind of guy. I kind of expect him. He's going to make that move if he has an opportunity, has a run. You may even see him start to check up here to build some gap between himself and Paul Witt. Can't build the run when you're right on the back bumper the way that he is. Kind of got to gain some distance. A smart Paul Witt, though, he's going to recognize that. He's going to see Millett try and check up. He may do just the same, but if you can catch him off guard late, maybe on the last lap, you can build a run into turn 3, off turn 4, wherever it may be. Maybe steal a win here. 4 laps to go. John Stepanich apparently having an issue on track. We'll try and get a quick replay of it. Slides through the tri-oval. Does he hit the wall? Oh, yeah. Hits it a ton on the pit exit. That was the smoke that we saw, and then he's going to nail it again. But not in the way of anybody, so we stay under the green flag. Three and a half laps to go. Paul Witt still out front. He's been up within that top three most of the afternoon. Definitely some talent behind the wheel of that Camry. See if he can get it done. About to cross the stripe. It'll be 3 laps to go. Paul Witt, Zach Millett, Trent Ringler, Gary Zlipinski, Josh Deese, and we have a caution flag. Caution on the Speedway. Looks like Craig White might have been involved. Some damage on the 3 machine. This is going to change a lot for everybody. Started with Noel Kors and Decker. They're up at the top side there. They get into the wall. Rominger gets a piece of it. 000 gets a hard piece. He just destroys the safer barrier. Craig White, he gets a piece of it as well. Rolls up the racetrack off break. Noel Kors, he's going to collect the 3 at the bottom of the hill. Another big wreck here, but this one's late, and it's going to put us into our first green-white checkered finish of the evening. Fuel's going to be tight. 429 of Paul Witt. You can hear him coasting down the backstretch already. Let's ride on board. See Paul Witt's got the clutch in and everything, shuts the car down to nothing, 300 RPM. Top 4 drivers pit at lap 61. I don't know if that was to the edge of what they could go on fuel, maybe a lap or 2 extra, but definitely in fuel save mode. Let's see if Zach Millett's doing the same. Millett's not shutting the car off, though. He's not using the clutch either. See, he's about 2,000 RPM on the dashboard. Gary Zlipinski, his pit strategy about the same as well. So through all that, the 5 of Josh Deese has found himself back into the top 5. Remember, Deese was a lap down machine at some point during the race, got the lucky dog under one of the caution flags. And here we are, another late caution flag at Talladega, and he finds himself into the top 5 with a chance with this thing. Plenty of lead lap cars in the mix, all the way back to Daniel Lewis in the 18th spot. Earl Lateral, the first car 1 lap down, I believe. He will get the lucky dog here in a moment. Give us 19 cars on the lead lap. And it's not unheard of. Those guys back at the tail end of the lead lap still have a shot at this thing If things go to hell in a handbasket at the front of the field and they're there to pick up the table scraps, they could absolutely pick up a checkered flag, even from as far deep in the field as Daniel Lewis or Earl Lateral, 18th, 19th spot. Again, if Earl gets that lucky dog, gets to the tail of the field, everybody on the lead lap coming to the checkers has a chance at this thing. Looks like Alan McEwen taking the chance here to hit pit lane. Maybe to top off fuel. Splash and go for McEwen. Craig White. Harold Decker. So we are on the one to go. Again, 2 chances here we'll take at a green-white checkered finish. This is our first attempt. Green flag, white flag, then checkers. As long as we take the white flag, that will be the last lap of the race. Caution would need to come out before Barry throws the white. And when I say Barry, I mean Barry the flag man, in case anybody's wondering, who's Barry? He's the guy waving a flag. Yes, iRacing has named him. Highway speed here at Talladega Super Speedway. It feels like they're going at bicycle pace. It's amazing the difference from this to 190 miles an hour. Earl Lateral parks it off turn number 4. He exits the session. I'm not sure if he's just going to watch this one from the tower. And Earl also one of the admins in the series. He may be watching this one to the finish. Pace car is down. Field working into the Geico restart zone in just 100 feet or less. There they are. Green flag waves. Back underway. Green-white checkered. Paul Witt to the inside, Zach Millett to the outside, Gary Zlopinski, Trent Ringler, Corey Gray. That's the top 5 as they work into 1. Zlopinski giving Millett a big push through turns 1 and 2. Lipinski has not left the back bumper of Zach Millett for that entire lap. It has pushed them way out in front. New top 5 is Millett, Lipinski, Gray, Gramuglia, and Dixon through the tri-oval. White flag waves. Final lap from Talladega. Will Zach Millett make it all the way back around? Will he even finish this race, let alone win it? Lipinski, a big-time pusher there at the bottom. I know what he's doing. He's going to try and get the 2 of them out in front. Maybe check up. Not going to work. Takes a look to the inside. Cars coming to the outside. They tuck back in behind the 78. Millett and Zlopinski head down the back straightaway into turn number 3 for the final time. Millett, Zlopinski, 1 and 2. Gray and Gramuglia and Dixon, the top 5. Can they make it pay all the way to the checkers? Through 3 and 4 for the final time. Do they make a move? Lipinski not tucked to the bumper now. Checkered flag waves. Zach Millett wins it at Talladega. I think Lipinski's going to take the second spot. Corey Gray, Frank Gramuglia, Paul Witt, your top 5. And there's a disaster in turn 1 after the race. Everybody reckon it's not going to change the outcome, though. That was all after the checkered flag had waved. What a race. What a finish. Zach Millett out of Clayton, New York. That S4 guy gets his first win, I believe, in the Old Fart Sim Racing League, the Concrete Floors Next Gen Cup Series. It's a mouthful, and I'm tired, folks. I apologize. Zach Millett taking the checkered flag. Chris Goins in the stream chat. Careful pushing that right rear. They got away with it. I don't know if it's just because you've got guys like Lipinski and Millett working together. Both of them, a lot of car control. I know we talk about Talladega, not really a car control place, but man, it's on the razor's edge when you're pushing like that for 2 full laps. That's Zach Millett, your race winner. We're going to step aside, get a break out of the way, and try to get our top 3 finishers up into the broadcast booth. Stay with us, folks. We'll be back after this.
The great thing about youth sports, they give young people an opportunity to participate in something that is going to broaden them as people.
I think it's very amazing that Garza Law Firm has made a commitment to help the youth kids with playing different sports.
Guys like Marcos Garza that put their time into being able to help these kids live out a dream. It's made me who I am today.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Talladega Super Speedway, Zach Millett with, I believe, his first win here in the Old Fart Sim Racing League, the Concrete Floors Company Next Gen Cup Series. Zach, it's Steve in the broadcast booth. Do you got a good copy?
Hey, Steve, got a copy.
Zach Millett taking home the checkered flag at Talladega Super Speedway. You passed the most cars out there tonight, 23 to be specific, 24th to P1. Tell us about your afternoon and how you managed to stay out in front of a hard-charging Gary Slapinski.
Man, it wasn't easy. There's a lot of fast guys in here. First and foremost, I wouldn't have had a chance at this win if it wasn't for Gary sticking with me. So big thanks to Gary. He definitely put us up there. And I thought he was going to get the run there coming off 4, but it was close.
It's the most tandemist, I guess you could say, I've seen these guys push and draft all night long. He got to your back bumper on that restart, pushed you to the front, and did not lift all the way to the checkered flag. A big-time attaboy and assist, I guess you can say, for Gary Slapinski. Were you worried he was going to pull out the pass there late?
Yes and no. I mean, I expect everybody to kind of go for the win, but I just didn't know when it was going to, come. If he was going to do it into 3, I think it would let the guys behind us catch us and pass us. And coming off 4, it's tricky. There's kind of the right spot to do it, and it doesn't always work,
Strategy-wise, we saw a lot of guys opt not to take tires tonight. I think I might have only seen 2 or 3 change them at all. What was the strategy for you tonight? Was it fuel only the whole way, or did you take a set here or there? What was the plan?
It was going to be just fuel only the whole time. And then I actually got involved in that first wreck, so I had to come down and use a faster pair anyway, so I figured I'd throw 4 on it and then not worry about it.
Well, very well. It worked out in the end. Checkered flag for Zach Millett. We're going to let you get out of here. Hopefully we can get Gary Slapinski and Corey Gray up into the booth here. Looks like we have what might be Norman Clark waiting next. I'm not sure. He was our 8th place finisher. But Zach, we'll let you go. Before we do, though, anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you, Steve, and HBR TV for broadcasting the Old Fart Sim Racing League. They're a great bunch of guys, and they're a lot of fun to race with. Well,
Zach, again, thanks for talking to us. Congratulations, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Zach Millett, your race winner here at Talladega Super Speedway. Traditionally, we try to interview the top 3. It's not always the case that we get everybody up into the booth, but glad we got to talk to our winner, Zach Millett. We've seen Gary Slapinski pop in once or twice, but then leave. I don't know if he's having connection issues or what the case may be, but nonetheless, we've got, I guess, a small post-race. We got to go over race winners and race results and the like before we completely get out of here, so there's still time. We'll give it a shot here. Go over the race results for tonight's event here at Talladega Super Speedway. Of course, we talked to Zach Millett, the Holler Boys racing driver. His first win of the season. We talked to him. He took the top honors tonight. Gary Slapinski was in that top 3 almost all night long. Really thought he was a dead ringer for the win tonight. Unfortunately, comes home second for him. Still a solid finish, but I'm sure he just wished he had that checkered flag. Corey Gray, a 3rd place finish, a good run for him as well. Frank Gramuglia, he was up there. He passed some cars as well. Not a ton. Started 8th, though. Finished P4. It's not a bad day. Paul Witt, again, another driver we saw at the front of the field, may have led the most laps tonight. We're going to have to go back and double check to be sure. He finished in the 5th spot. Josh Deese, a good run for him. He was a lap down. I think he was involved in an early wreck. Got the lucky dog, put himself back on the lead lap, got caught up with another caution, got himself into the top 5. Unfortunately, unable to finish top 5, but still a solid 6th place finish for Josh Deese. Michael Martin in the 77, he finished in the 7th position. 8th went to Norman Clark. 9th place finisher Bradley Cockrell. 10th was Mike Rominger. A strong run for Mike tonight, but just not able to get back up front and contend. Tom Dixon was 11th. Randolph Richard was 12th. 13th went to Trent Ringler. 14th, Frank Perfin. 15th, Harold Decker. 16th position was Daniel Lewis. Mark Robertson was 17th. Alan McEwen was 18th, 1 lap down. Craig White in the 3, had a strong run today, got caught up in a wreck, or even 2 possibly, finished in the 19th position. David Wasselchuk was 20th, 1 lap down. 2 laps down was Joseph Green in the 42. 22nd, Noel Coors. 23rd, James Randall III. Earl Lateral checked out there, coming to the green on that green-white checker to 4 lap down. 24th place finish for Earl. John Stepanich was 25th. Giovanni Ochapinti was 26th, 8 laps down, involved in a crash. Michael Howlett, 27th. 28th was Rick Nichols. Travis Turnmeyer, 29th. Dan Bazilla, tough run for him. He was out early in a crash. The 981 finished in the 30th spot, 72 laps down. James Muhan, I'm probably saying it right, and I apologize, and Brad Allison, 78 laps down. They may not have taken the green at all. Unfortunately for both drivers, they were here in the session, but not in the race itself. Still categorized. They may have been in just viewing, maybe here as an admin, but nonetheless, they do show up in the standings. But that is your finishing order here at the Speedway, Talladega Super Speedway, the Concrete Floors Next Gen Cup Series. This race is over. It was a good one. Talladega usually puts on a pretty decent show. It doesn't matter what kind of cars we're in. These Next Gen Cup cars, still relatively new for us here at HBR TV, but they've been putting on decent shows. It's amazing this season is already getting close to its conclusion, but the 21st of September, we roll into Michigan Speedway. These cars at Michigan Speedway, I can honestly say, almost put on a better show than Daytona and Talladega. So certainly looking forward to that. Make sure you tune in for it next week here on HBR TV 1. It's at Facebook or YouTube. The handle is the same. So facebook.com/HBR TV 1 or on YouTube at HBR TV 1. I don't care which one you watch it from, whatever works best for you, but please do turn on the notifications, like, subscribe, share, follow, all those fancy buzzwords that some of you guys don't know what they are. It's okay, but figure it out, because the more you subscribe, like, follow, especially the notifications, that is the most important part. You get all those notifications about when we go live in case, oh yeah, I was going to watch the race and I forgot. Well, bing, there goes your phone. You got that notification and you know to tune in and watch. We've got other series also coming up. Mondays, we're covering the LSR Sports Car Series. Next Tuesday, we actually have an off night. It's usually the Superior Class Auto Racing Premier Series, but we jump into the playoffs in 2 weeks at Richmond. I think it's Richmond. So we don't have to worry about that this week. We're going to be off, but definitely tune in for it. Wednesdays, of course, we're here with Old Farts. Thursdays, we have the LSR Truck Series. And this coming Saturday is our final Numb Thumbs Racing League ARCA Series. It is their season finale, their championship race. That'll be coming up at the old Atlanta Motor Speedway, so tune in for that. All these races really between 8 and 9 p.m., so if you're sitting in front of your phone or your computer or whatever you're watching YouTube or Facebook on, you can probably find us most nights of the week. We typically going to be Monday through Thursdays, but again, we got one coming up this coming Saturday. Thanks to everybody for watching. We do appreciate it, especially thanks to those in the stream chat. Chris Gones, Eddie Rose. Looks like that S4 guy even piped in there at the end. I appreciate you guys being here and watching. It makes a difference. It's a whole lot more fun when I'm talking to people and it's not just an empty crowd and nobody in the grandstands, quote unquote. But from me to you, I appreciate you. I appreciate the league, and it's been a pleasure to broadcast here as the season kind of gets close to its end here. Just a handful of races remaining. That's all I got. I'm Steve Singer with HBR TV, congratulating Zach Millett, winner of the Concrete Floors Next Gen Cup Series race here at Talladega. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good night.